start on our knees today. We'll pull those shoulders back. We'll tuck our tail so that we're sitting on those bones. Opening up the chest, close the eyes, and take a few big deep breaths, feeling up all the way down into our lower belly. Feeling our ribs expand. Our spine lengthens. Check in with how we are feeling today. Reminding ourselves that we are working with this body that we have at this moment. So let's not force it into anything it is not ready or willing to do, just because it may have been willing to do it yesterday or the day before. And also a little note of reminder, just a gentle reminder that if something does not feel good, it is totally okay to not do it, to take a break. Child's pose is always there for you. It will never quit on you. So don't quit on it. And take a little break and then meet us later on in the practice, or just take Shavasana too. That's also a perfectly exceptional option. All right, so let's lift those hands up nice and high on our next inhale. Reaching for the sky, opening up the fingers really wide, pulling the shoulders back and down. Breathing into the belly, just making ourselves super tall. And then exhale, we'll just take those hands over to the right, reaching all the way over with our left hand. And inhaling up and exhaling over to the left side, reaching with that right hand. And inhaling up. And then exhale, little cactus arms, bringing those shoulders down, back, elbows down, lifting the heart, and then tucking that tail so we're not arching in the back too much. Good. Inhaling up. And then exhale, we're just going to come down into a child's pose. And then inhaling, we'll roll our way up, back onto our heels, hands come up high. Exhale, cactus arms, open that chest. Inhale up. And exhale, we'll just come on down to that child's pose again. Good, let's walk our hands over to one side, reaching across our body. And then over to the other side. And back to the center. And rolling our way back up to our heels, hands come up high. And then again, cactus arms, open up that chest. Good. From here, let's straighten those arms. Palms are facing forward, but we're going to kind of twist. So one hand is going to go down, the other hand is going to come up. Turning those shoulders, and then the other direction. So one hand will twist around, but the other one will twist up. And then around. We can even look to a hand. And around. Let's do that one more time to each side. Twisting those arms, getting those shoulders moving around. And last time over to the final side, and then back to the center. Inhale up. Good. And now exhale. Let's bring those hands back behind us, pulling the shoulders back, lifting the heart, and then begin to lift the hips up off of our heels. And lowering down that butt. We can even come all the way forward, round in that spine into a little rabbit. Good. And then rolling our way up. Hands go back behind us, shoulders pull back, chest lift, hips come up high. We can lower our head, drop it back a little bit. And exhale down. Releasing those hands, we can even come forward into our rabbit. Let's do that one more time. Inhaling, pulling the shoulders back, hands come down, chest open, hips come up. And then lowering down, releasing the hands. We can come to our rabbit with our hands back by our toes, or we can bring them out in front of us for a child's pose. Good. And then from here, let's lift ourselves up into a little tiny baby plank. So our hips will come forward, shoulders will come over our wrists, pressing into the floor with those hands, opening up the shoulders behind us, lengthening in the spine, and then we'll lower ourselves down. Good. Inhale. Hands are underneath of our shoulders. I'm going to do a little baby cobra. So let's bring that chest forward first, and then lift so that our shoulders stay above those wrists. And exhale, we'll come back down. Pressing back with those hands all the way back to child's pose. Let's do that again. Inhale up to our little plank. Exhale, we'll lower down. Inhale, we'll scoop that chest forward and then up. Barely using our hands. We're not pressing with those hands. Just they're there for stability. And then we'll press back to our child's pose. Good. One more time. Coming on up. Lengthen in that spine. Hips can lower. And then the shoulders. And then scoop that chest forward and then up. And then press back to our child's pose. Let's stay here for 2 breaths. Good. And now let's get those knees nice and wide in our child's pose. Our toes will still stay together, but the knees will stay wide. We'll press those hips back toward our heels. Arms are out in front of us. Nice wide-legged child's pose. Good. Hands are out in front of us. As we inhale, we'll lift our hips and bring them forward. Keeping those toes together, the knees wide. Exhale, we'll come back. Inhale, we'll come forward. And exhale back, just getting some movement in our hips. We're not necessarily trying to press down into like a split prep or anything. Just getting some movement in those hips. And back. Let's do that one more time. Forward and back. Good. And now we can let those toes come away from each other. So now our knees and our ankles are in a straight line. Our toes are pointing out in opposite directions. And now we're in a bit more of a frog. So now when we come forward, a little bit easier to keep those feet on the floor and back. And now when we come forward, we're going to lift up one of our feet and kind of kick it out to the side. And then come back. And then we'll come up and we'll kick the other one out to the side. And back. So it's like a little corkscrew action with our feet or our legs. And back. And forward, bring that foot out. And back. Let's do that one more time each side. And out. And back. And then we can settle into a more comfortable child's pose, whatever that means for you, bringing your knees closer together, your feet back together. Good. And then the next time we inhale, let's bring forward our right foot into our baby lunge. Hands can go to the inside of the foot here. We won't stay here for a huge amount of time, but we can wiggle our way into our lunge. Good. Exhale, let's come back to our child's pose. And when we come, inhale, we'll come forward with that left foot this time. Good. And exhale back to our child's pose. And now with our breath, inhale, we'll come forward with a foot. And exhale, we'll come back. And forward with a foot. And back. Seeing if we can make our steps as quiet as possible. That means that we are moving with purpose and control instead of just flapping our foot down to the ground. And forward. And back. And forward. And back. And now this time, let's bring that right leg forward and we'll stay here for a little bit. Good. And now let's exhale back to our half split. So our hips will go past back by our knee. Our right leg is out in front of us. Toes are pointed to the sky. We can use a block. Hands can come to our thigh, to our shin, to the floor. Just a nice flat back as we do this. Good. And then inhale, let's come forward into that baby lunge again. And exhale, we'll go back. Inhale forward. And exhale back. And now inhale forward, find our balance. Let's lift our hands up high. Good. We're going to place that left hand on the floor, right hand stays for a little twist. And then that right hand will come back down, and we're just going to reach all the way through, twist in the other direction. And then inhale up and exhale down. Good, let's do that one more time. Inhale up and exhale down and through. Good, both hands find the floor. We'll step back into our child's pose. And we'll switch sides. So our left foot will come forward. We'll find that lunge. Find our straight back. So that when we come back into our half split, we're only hinging at the hips. We're not rounding in the back. Good, and then we'll come on forward. And then exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhaling back. Inhaling, coming on forward. Exhale back. And now inhaling forward, finding our balance. Hands can come up high. And then we'll lower that right hand down to the ground. Open ourselves up to the left. And then with those exhales, let's thread the needle through, bringing that left hand down and through. And then inhale will come up. And exhale down. Inhale up. And exhale down. Inhale up. Last time, exhale through. And then just place that left hand back down onto the mats, and we'll step back for our child's pose. Good, let's inhale, bring that right foot forward. Good, exhale, we'll back to our half split. Inhale, we'll come up. Good, all the way up high with our hands. Good, and then left hand comes down, right hand comes up. And now this right hand will come to the thigh. We'll keep turning those shoulders, and we'll lower that left hip down toward the floor. Begin to look back behind us like there's something there that we just can't quite reach. And then slowly we'll come back to the center. And now let's reach back again, making that twist, lowering the hip, seeing if we can reach it this time. And coming back around, not so good. And back to our child's pose. Other side, bringing that left foot forward. Good. Exhale, we go back. Inhale, we'll come forward, and hands get real high. Bringing those hips forward, lengthening in that right hip flexor. Good, right hand comes down to the floor, left hand can come to the thigh. We'll begin to turn and look behind us, lowering that right hip down toward the floor. We can reach back with that left hand, still press into this right so that we're not lazy in the shoulder, lengthening in the spine, breathing. And slowly we'll come back to the center. And we'll try again. So turning around toward the left. See if we can reach back behind us. No go. Hands come back down. We'll step back to our child's pose. We'll stay here for a few breaths. Here in our child's pose, we always have lots of choices everywhere we go. We can have our knees nice and wide. We can have them close together. Our arms can be out in front of us. We can even turn those palms toward the sky to change our shoulder configuration. We can even bend the elbows, bring our hands together, and bring those hands behind our heads if we like this better. Good. Now let's bring those hands out in front of us. We'll walk the fingers forward so we're really reaching. And then inhale, we'll come up to our little plank ever so briefly, and then come all the way down to our chest, to our bellies. Good. From here, our arms can go out in like our goalpost or our cactus arms again. We can place our head on our mat, or if we have a pillow, we can totally use that. Good. And then from here, we're going to take our right leg. We're going to bend the knee like we want to kick ourselves in the bum. But then we're going to reach back behind in the opposite direction, all the way over to the left, trying to keep our shoulders and arms where they're at. And then we'll lower that back down and slowly reach back with that left foot over to the right. And back down. And again, other side. And back down. Last side over here for a moment. Good. And back down. Give the back a little bit of a rest as we reach our hands out in front of us like Superman. Really reaching those fingers forward. And then, like a big butterfly stroke, we're going to press those hands back behind us. Palms come up all the way here, back by our butts. Good. And then forward, back to our Superman, and back. And forward. Good. Again, back, reaching back behind us. See if we can touch those fingers. Good. And bringing them forward. Good. And then again, goalpost arms. Let's step back with that right foot. And coming back to the center. We'll step back with the left foot. And then to the center. Good. Reaching forward with our arms. Bringing them back behind us. Now as they're back behind us, we're going to reach for those toes, lift our shoulders and our chest, and lower back down. Bringing our hands back forward, and then to our goal posts. And then right leg goes back. And then coming back to the center, and then the left leg will go. Good. And back to the center, reaching forward, bringing them back behind us. Reach for those toes, lift the chest, pull those shoulders back. Exhale down, hands come forward. Good. Goalpost arms. Good. And now we're going to bring our right hand underneath of our head, and our left hand will come back and it'll find our left foot. And we'll bring it all the way back to our butt. Think about pressing this left hip into our mats so that we can lengthen all the way through that quad. Good. And releasing, we'll go over to the other side. So our left hand can come underneath of our head if we'd like, reaching back for our right foot, pulling that thing back to our bum, pressing the hip into our mats to lengthen all the way down our quads. Good. And releasing that foot. Hands can come underneath of our shoulders. And we'll press back to our child's pose. Good. And now we're going to scoot this right knee forward so that we can sit down on that right butt. And then we'll bring the left knee into our little 90-90 situation here. Hands can come forward. We'll do a little forward fold here. And then inhale, we'll come up. And then we're going to go backwards. So hands back behind us and lowering down. Good. Inhale, we'll come up. And exhale, we'll go forward. Good. Inhale, we'll come up. Exhale, we'll go back. Inhale, let's come all the way up to the top. And this left leg, we're gonna bring all the way around, crossing at our knees. I'm gonna turn so you can see this into our cow face pose here. Try and bring that left hip down in toward our mats. If we're happy here or doing our best to be here, that's where we're at. If we would like, our hands can come forward and do a little forward fold toward those knees. Good. Inhale, we'll come back up. We'll grab this left foot with our peace fingers right around that big toe. Think about being nice and tall here. And like a bow and arrow, we're going to pull that knee back in towards our shoulder. And exhale, we'll lengthen. Inhale, we'll pull back. Not so much that we break our toe off, right? And then lengthen and bend and lengthen. Let's stay here in that straight leg here. Now, if it's too much on our toe, we can come to our calf or behind the knee or the thigh. We're just going to slowly bring that leg in towards us, even just a little bit. Good. And then releasing that foot. And we're going to switch our 90-90. So this left leg will stay forward, and then the right leg will come back behind us. Find our situation here. Hands will come forward, and then we'll just work our way down into a forward fold. And then inhale, we'll come up. And exhale, we'll work our way backwards. Good. Inhale, we'll come up. And exhale, we'll come down. Moving with our breath. Exhale, we'll go back. And inhale, and we'll lower down on that exhale. Inhaling up. Exhaling back. Last time. And then coming on up nice and straight here. Gonna bring this right leg all the way around. See if we can cross knee to knee here. And then again, using our strength in mind to help that right hip come down toward our mats. Nice straight back here. We're super tall, letting those hips do their thing. If we would like, we can fold forward. If we don't like, don't fold forward. Good. Inhale, let's come up. We'll unwind those legs and we'll grab that right foot right around that big toe and we'll do our little archer pose here. So pulling back, bringing that knee back in towards our armpit or past our shoulder, depending on where you put your elbow. And then let's lengthen and pull it back. This is like half of a happy baby here. And lengthen and back. And lengthen. We'll stay here in this long leg so we can continue holding with that peace finger, or we can hold behind the calf or the thigh. Just encourage that buddy to come in towards us a little bit further. And then we'll release. Both feet can come out in front of us. Wiggle it out a little bit if we'd like. Good. And then one more thing before we come down onto our back. So feet will be out in front of us. Hands can just hang out behind us. We can pull those shoulders back to open up that chest further as we do this. Feet are a little bit wider than our hips. We're just going to do some little windshield wipers. So we'll exhale, lower those knees down to one side. Inhale, we'll come up. And exhale down to the other side. So with our breath just moving gently side to side. Good. Let's do one more to each side so we all end up on the same page together. Good. And back to the center. When we're ready, both feet can come together. We'll bring our knees in towards our chest and we'll rock back onto our backs. And we can give ourselves our little massage. We would like forward, backward, side to side, little wiggles here and there, whatever we need to do. Good. And then we'll just bend those knees and place our feet on the floor. Our arms will come out again into that cactus configuration or goalpost arms. But what I want you to think about is this low back. Sometimes if we have really tight shoulders, we compensate by arching really hard into that back. So let's tilt that tail. Let's see if we can get that low back to press into our mat. If we need, we can even, that's why we have our knees bent. We can even come into like a little bit of an upside down child's pose if that feels a little bit better. So our arms can stay on our mat. So we're at our goalpost arms. And again, we're gonna reach above our heads, but keeping those arms on the mat. So it may not get all the way above our heads without lifting underneath or lifting our hands up off of the mat. And then exhale, we'll just lower down. So these are like yoga snow angels. Inhale, we'll slide up. Exhale, we'll lower down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Really breathe into that low belly. Keep that back on the mat. And down. Let's do one more inhale up. One more exhale down. Good. And then back to our regular goalpost, and then we can release those arms. We can even give ourselves a bit of a hug. We can roll up into our ball if we like. Do what we want. Good. And now, we're gonna bend this, keep this left knee bent. Our right foot is going to cross over that left knee. So we're in a bit of a figure four here. Arms can stay to the floor, or we can just hang out on our bellies. We're just gonna go to the side, over to the left with those legs. And then inhale, we'll come up, keeping this right knee moving away from our body, and we'll go over to the right. Good. Again, inhale up and exhale down to the left. Just moving again with our breath. Inhale up and exhale down. Let's do one more to each side. Good, and then let's come back to the center, keeping that right knee moving away from our body. We'll lift the left foot up off of the floor, and we'll hold on to that left thigh behind it, and just bring those legs in towards us. Trying to keep that low back and our tail onto our mat. So we bring the stretch into our legs and our hips and glutes, as opposed to just rounding in the back. And we'll release. We'll uncross those legs. We'll go over to the other side. So left foot over the right knee. opening up that left knee away from our body. Hands can come to our sides or on our bellies. And then we'll just exhale over to the right. And then inhale, we'll come up. And exhale to the left. Good, and then back up to the center and exhale down. We'll move with our breath a few times to each side. Inhale, we'll come up, and exhale, we'll go down. Inhaling up, and exhaling down, up, over. Do one more time to each side. And back to the center when we are ready. We'll move that left knee away from our body. We'll lift the right foot up off of the ground, bringing that knee in towards us. We'll hold behind that right thigh. And releasing, unwinding. We can roll up into our little ball. We can wiggle it out, whatever we need to do. Good. And then what we'll do is we'll cross this right leg all the way over the left. Almost, if you can, wrap your toes around that left calf if you can. That's really tough. Almost like an eagle pose. Arms will come out to the side. We can close our eyes, and we're just going to let those knees fall over to the left. And do a little twist here. Close our eyes. We can bring our gaze over to the right if we would like. Breathing deeply. And then slowly we'll come back to the center. We'll unwind. We can wiggle it out. And then both hands come behind our thighs or our knees. Legs come up to the sky, and we'll just do like a little forward fold upside down here. Bringing those legs in towards our chest. And then releasing the legs And we'll go over to the other side. So crossing all the way around with that left leg over the right. Arms can come out to the side. Exhale, we'll bring both of those legs down to the right side. Bring our gaze over to the left. Good. And then we'll unwind, uncross those legs, wiggle it out. Find our way up into our little ball. And then again, both legs come up to the sky. Encourage them to come towards our chest. Good. And then we'll release, bend those knees nice and wide. Elbows come inside. Hands go to the pinky toe sides of our feet for dead bug. We'll relax our shoulders down into our mat. Let the weight of our arms encourage those legs and feet to come down. Good. And then we'll release those legs. They can come all the way down to the mats. Our hands can come down to our sides. We close our eyes. We soften our jaws. We relax our tongues. And we quiet ourselves so that we can have this time to just relax and to rejuvenate. We start to become aware of our breath. Deepening our inhales. Exhaling, pushing that air out of our lungs. We wiggle our fingers and our toes as we slowly come back into our space. And we listen to our body and we give it what it needs right now, whether it be a little wiggle or a stretch or a twist. And when it is time, please not before, we'll bring our knees into our chest. We'll roll over onto our side. We'll slowly help ourselves up to a comfortable seated position. Taking this time to check in with how we are feeling right now. Mentally grasp on to the peace that we have built within us during our Shavasana. That connection that we built between our mind and our bodies throughout our practice. We bring our hands together at our hearts. Bow to ourselves in gratitude, giving thanks to us for all of the gifts that we gave ourselves today. As always, I am so grateful that you joined me today, allowed me to share my practice and help you through yours. I wish you a very happy rest of your day, and I urge you to err on the side of kindness. The light in the divine in me recognizes and respects the light and the divine in each of you, and when we are together, whether virtually or physically, we are one. Namaste.